Hello, everyone. This is Sandy Unone, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, buenos dias, buenos noches, and happy Pride wherever you are priding from today. As I said, I'm Sandy Unone, host of Cultivating Voices Live Poetry Open Mic and author of Votes for Women. And I am your Poetry Pride Parade Grand Marshal for today. I'm coming to you live from Olympia, Washington, which is on the unceded territory of the Coastal Salish and Squaxin peoples. I want to thank our co-sponsor, Headmistress Press, and also thanks to Don Krieger and Elizabeth Ann for Zoom support today. In the early hours of June 28, 1969, the New York Police Department raided the Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village. The event launched the modern movement for LGBT rights, with the first official gay pride parade following a year later in New York City, Los Angeles, and Chicago on June 28, 1970. The next year, 1971, Pride went global. In solidarity with the current Black Lives Matter movement and in celebration of the recent US Supreme Court decision extending further employment protections to LGBTQ+ peoples, welcome to our celebration and our commemorations of the 50th anniversary of Pride and the inauguration of Cultivating Voices' first live Pride Poetry Parade. After our featured readers, we will end the parade with a live open mic hosted by spoken word writer, performer guru, Andy Talbot. On our Cultivating Voices Live group page, we have our readers' bios with links to their websites and presses. And we definitely hope that if you have the resources, please definitely support and purchase a book today, at least one book. We also have a list of LGBTQ+ organizations doing exceptional work in their communities, and to show your appreciation for the readers, rather than a tip jar, we today ask that you make a donation on their behalfs to any of these fabulous organizations doing such good work. We at Cultivating Voices Live Open Mic will be making a modest donation to each of the 9 organizations in our readers' behalf. Hey, we're at a parade. It's great weather wherever you are on Facebook. And we are encouraging you to use the chat, show your appreciation, because the live video will transfer to a permanent video on our site. So without further ado, let's meet our paraders for our first hour. First, we have Risa Denenberg, lives on the Olympic Peninsula in Washington State, where she works as a nurse practitioner. She is a co-founder and editor at Headmistress Press, curator of the Poetry Cafe, and has published 3 full-length collections of poetry, most recently, Slight Faith. Mancho Alvarado is a Latinx queer poet, translator, visual artist, and educator. They have been published in Meridian, Foglifter, Poets.org, and other publications. They are a recipient of fellowships and residencies from the Helen Wurlitzer Foundation, Lambda Literary Poets House, Troika House, the Summer Seminar at Sarah Lawrence College, and won the Academy of American Poets John B. Santuyani Award for Excellence in Poetry. Anne Walsh Donnelly lives in Mayo in the west of Ireland. Her chapbook, The Woman with an Owl Tattoo, from Fly on the Wall Press, reflects her coming out journey in midlife. Next is Laura Foley. Her Why I Never Finished My Dissertation received a starred Kirkus review and was among their top poetry books of 2019. Her collection, It's This, is forthcoming from Salmon Poetry in 2021, and her poems have won numerous awards and national recognition. Read frequently by Garrison Keillor and the Writer's Almanac, appearing in Ted Kuzer's American Life in Poetry. Laura lives with her wife among Vermont hills. Quite lovely. And closing out our first hour of the parade will be April Lee Fields, who is a self-published author, soulful songstress, and an internationally recognized spoken word artist. Her original storytelling performances are set against a melodious instrumental backdrop where you will find her seamlessly drifting in an assortment of soulful cover songs that have been carefully paired with each reading. She is the author of A Version of You, a memoir, and Wanderlust, a collection of poetry. And now, without further ado, our first reader, Risa Denenberg.
Hi, can you hear me? So the first poem I'm going to read is the title poem from the book that I published with my press, with Headmistress Press, and it's titled Whirlwind at Lesbos, and it's a tribute to lesbians from all times and all places. We met in Istanbul, where your face was a veil, and you beckoned a reckless gesture. Cover your eyes, you hissed when I dared look through your robe at your breast buds. You were 12 when we first kissed, wadded your gum under the desk, whistled at me, spit into the wind, earnestly began chewing my hair. We ran away to Naples during the long war, while flames licked our feet and charred our skin. Hurry, you barked over your shoulder. I was already losing sight. I wailed all night in Jerusalem when you turned me hard against the stone wall, pressing against my back as you reached up inside me, grabbed my womb with your fist. In winter, we rented a small cottage in Copenhagen, where winds blew snow over our bed. We embraced and couldn't let go. You were cold and needed comfort. We undressed each other, maidens in the 5th century, and were discovered naked, entwined asleep, your ringlets black and soft on the silken pillow. But then I missed a cab to the airport, slept right through the alarm one morning in Cairo, and you were gone. I was beheaded with your name on my lips. The baggage was clearly marked, but reached Paris by error. I'm in New York awaiting your email. This is Yellow Star, and just an explanation. It references the 1911 Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire in Lower Manhattan, and is dedicated to the Jewish and Italian immigrant women who died, primarily because they had the doors locked. Yellow Star. In my case, the yellow star will be made of 2 perfect pink triangles cut from cheap dry goods at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, where the women sew stars on at the ready, hunched over their singers, and not wasting time on stairs, work right up to closing time, then jump. They didn't want to die so young, and neither did the gay boys who died in droves at the close of the last century. I would be one who would beg you to shoot me, who would know that borders lie, that I could not endure the march through the woods and the snow to the trains at the end. We who say never forget also know it could happen again to us, and we do not know more now than we did then how to make it stop. The stitching never ends. For practice, I have sutured my arm to my sleeve with triangles made from pages torn from the book of Job. The next poem is a new poem written it's dedicated to nurses everywhere, but particularly the ones who are on the front line during the pandemic, and it's called Bedside. To wake each morning and recommit to what you've chosen, to grab a cup and a donut, to gown up, reuse your N95, add goggles and gloves, to hear the call bell, to be a hand reaching out to say, stay, to watch the struggle and then the surrender, to notify the family, to embrace the phone while they sob, to not cry as you remove the tubes, to cleanse the body as tenderly as you would if she were your own mother, to cover her with a crisp white sheet, to fall into a moment of groundless grace, to feel desperately alive. The next poem is from a series of elegies that I've been writing since 1993 when my best friend John died of AIDS. And this one is new, but it's in the series. You are. It's after W.H. Auden. You are my kitchen. I can't make my eggplant dish without you. You dice the onion so I won't cry. You strike the match to light the oven. You are my salon. You serve rosé in cut glass goblets. I have no desire to sweep the floors without you here. You are my critic, my lost amethyst ring, my favorite berry. You are the knife that scrapes the pith of me, the toothy grin of the missing boy on the milk carton, my root beer float. My legs cannot wrap around this emptiness. You are the postcard of Calliope you airmailed me from Mykonos, that other time you left, vowing to never return. And then the present of you, gifts of brisket, banter, side-splitting quarrels. I make rugelach every year on your birthday. You are my morning shower, my evening biscuit.
Love that. Well done.
About the body and what it needs. I navigate by shadows of clouds in the ocean. I don't need a mother or lover to enter my vessel or to amend legends that were never mine. I don't recall labor pains, but I still feel the rush of milk tumble into empty breasts, a small shiver of memory that sates longing, leaves me engorged. You must wonder how I say these things that seem so faded. In full sight of your fraught wish to be loved in body, my rebuff must affront you. I will not be coy, I know it does, since if these things about me were not true, I could shower sticky kisses all over you. I'm no more alone than Emily Dickinson. There is no idiom for the seasonal way I sail into myself. The clouds are blue today. And the last poem I'm going to read today is also a new one, and it's called How to Grieve. And it's after the wonderful verse in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 13 about love. Grief is patient. A day will come when you'll sit with torn shirts on low stools beneath covered mirrors chanting Kaddish. Some morning you will offer oolong tea to the Bodhisattva sitting calm and cross-legged at the altar. Today you may refuse to take the body of Christ into your mouth, but tomorrow the wafer will dissolve in tears. Grief waits as we stare out the window. The lingering taste of ash reminds us how she hovers. You may curse again and again, but she keeps her counsel. When Zoom makes me sit alone in a room, waiting for the host to open the gates and admit my ghost, it reminds me of the time I was 5 and made to stay behind, alone on my nap mat, while the other children ate ice cream at the playground. Do we always remember the punishment, but not the crime? We may behold many marvels today, but the greatest of these is grief. Thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Moncho. Thank you very much for inviting. I really appreciate being here, and thank you very much for your time and space. I'm gonna read a couple of poems. This first one is a list for every time my depression tries to obituary me. For Jay. In the end, in the dark, we breathe the same. In a place where words can't be carried. It's in our nature. Look at your hands. Round infinities that can't draw a perfect circle. It's okay not to recall your 10th memory. Whales don't recall all their songs that vibrate the sea. I'm learning to write the things I couldn't remember. Self-care, compassion, and empathy. An unbearable horizon. The last page, turning in your favorite book. One day, I awoke and tried to recall everything. I'm going to live all my dreams, even the one where I speak sunflower. It's okay to cry. Cry out the Rio Grande in you. How many people do you think have cried today? Everything has a lesson. You only have to listen, see, taste, smell, and touch, and you'll know. I have used up all my fears. Spiritually speaking, we are the stars. We nova, flux, lux. Panic will try to take the intensity of nows, but fight it. Dictionary of the world, noun the living, verb memories. Eat a caramel chew. Place it in the roof of your mouth. A sweet gooey that lasts. Create an energy that will live 1,000 generations. My beloved, on my lips. History opens and closes like an accordion. But do you see all this life? The earth came from gases molded into a planet. This is a part of a solar system. This system, a part of the Milky Way galaxy. This galaxy, a part of the supercluster, Laneakea, meaning immense heaven, which resides in this universe, the Meirama. And she made capirotada, bolillos soaked in piloncillo juice, cloves, cinnamon, raisins, and you. Cool. This next one's called Dear Ama. And I've written a series of letters to my mom in poetic form, so this is one of them. Dear Ama, you can't gel a revolution was tagged on the side of a Wendy's. But Ama, you can make it go into debt and never revolt. Who can afford to move into the future when today is always catching up? I bought a taste of home, deep fried dough con azúcar, churros sold by a couple that look like your parents. You told me abuelo mined the underworld for ancient memories, worth millions of dollars under our feet. All his years digging cost less than all the minerals he dug out. You asked him, why do we wear the earth? You said he laughed, coughed up his lungs. But looking at the night sky, I want to wear it. That everywhere where dreams are made real, where the oldest things to survive are like a heart with 4 chambers. The flow sings a remembrance to keep us from exiting ourselves, like a promise I make to start a diet for a whole year. With sopes, tamales de queso y rajas, asada fries. Pues, maybe I'll promise a diet part-time. But why do 2 hydrogen love 1 oxygen to let us inhale one of the oldest contracts of the universe? Air. It carries the smells of everything, like jasmine, lavender, pine trees. And you book when it opens for the first time. There's mattered energy in there, like our final hug when we last saw each other. I still feel it now, the way we held each other, a universe, a womb that creates, births, and emerges, traces of tomorrows, the stars. Okay, thanks. And one more. This one's for my tia. Yeah, so it's called Staring at the Sky. Para mi tía Esperanza. I can't stop looking at the clouds. It reminds me of your name, Esperanza, a movement, Dia, like wind passing through trees, flowers, and grass. We are all these moments. Dia, I trust water more than I do people. When drunk, it sings a garden inside of me. I feel it swishing in my mouth. This instant is worth 1,000 tomorrows. Dia, the way your body echoes, a voyage of planets, meteorites, stars, things that survive to paint the world around us, worlds that will never have futures in. Dia, we all use the same colors when our eyes close, a glitter inside when we open, sweet ripening. It calls me, season after season, lay in me, warm and grow, grow. Dia, all atoms and particles in the universe behave like waves, including all the atoms that we ourselves are made of. Waves are at the very nature of our reality. Dia, beyond this, do we still dance? Remember, you and little me dancing to Como Te Voy a Olvidar, the way you moved, a sunrise, shadows, running leaves in the wind. It's always real for me. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello. Hi. Um, Hi. Hello there. I'm Walsh Donnelly here. Thank you so much to Sandy Ann and Elizabeth for having me on here this evening. So the first poem I'm going to read is called Joy, and I'm reading this for a friend of mine called Catherine. She was in Prague in February when she sent me this postcard. If you can see it. And I wrote this poem. Joy. Joy is a naked woman sitting astride a speckled grey mare, raising her arms like a victorious marathon runner, exposing the virgin white of her underarms and baby sham breasts. Joy is her hands bound by the untamed locks of her salted hair. I imagine mine delving into the folds of her unstarched body. Joy is another woman on a piebald, knees bent, her derriere a reversed C, skin the colour of Uluru sandstone, lips parted. Joy is the feel of hoofs sinking into sand, oblivious to the tide creeping towards them, like a white veil threatening to shroud. Joy is sitting in Prague Centre Pompidou, watching wild women ride. You, the grey speckled mare, and me, the piebald pony. And the next poem I'm going to read is the first time I've read this poem to an audience, and this is my first Pride event too, so it's apt that I should read it. It's called From Chink to Rio Grande Rift, and it's about my struggle in coming to terms with my sexuality and then coming out in midlife. Just as my plates were supposed to settle and glide into old age, a woman's touch smashed my crust. My amber core exposed, I roared like a lioness. Volcanic ash scratched my throat. I hoped my mother would survive the lava bomb that missiled towards home, and imagined her thinking, if she'd given me a sister instead of 5 brothers, I wouldn't have turned out this way. Lover and I drifted into sleep, an ash-grey cloud over our entangled limbs. I dreamed of the priest who once said, as he flexed his fingers, masturbation causes blindness, making love is for making babies, and gays are intrinsically disordered. My brain, marinated in doctrine, castigated me for not keeping the eruption underground. Thank you. The next poem we're going to read is called Metamorphosis, and it was inspired by the short story Metamorphosis, written by Franz Kafka. In that short story, the protagonist wakes up one morning and finds himself in a huge, ugly cockroach body. So I wanted to use that image to talk about shame. Metamorphosis. I lie in her arms, her breasts pressed against my back. Listen to her soft snores. She doesn't see the demon pest in me, its reddish brown shell, insect head, and large black eyes. She doesn't feel its wax-coated exoskeleton or the claws to my legs. I maneuver myself out of bed, scurry towards the bathroom, into the shower. Boiling water lashes my vermin armor. I cry cockroach tears. Stiff wings dissolve. Antenna swirl down the drain. 6 spindly legs become 2 again. And now for something entirely different. This is called History of My Sexual Encounters. All penises in this poem are fictitious. Any resemblance to real penises, dying or dead, is purely coincidental. A Bristol boy ripped my hymen, penis like a twister ice lolly, always melted too quickly and never quite filled me. The Aussie naval officer, penis is long and bent as the steel arches of Sydney Harbour Bridge. I jumped before he stood to salute. The bushman in Kakadu, penis tasted like a burnt kangaroo stick, said he hates when the Sheilas don't come. Takes a bit longer than 5 minutes, buckle. The dog I met in Singapore, penis slick as tiger beer easing down a parched throat. He wanted me to go down, south and hope to Darwin. I flew north to Kathmandu. And finally, the Wexford anchor held his penis as if it were a fishing rod, caught my clitoris, reeled me in. Took me 7 years to escape his hook. And in stark contrast to that poem, this poem is called Manana Heron. And for those of you who don't know any Irish, Manana Heron means woman of Ireland. And this poem is one of my favourite poems and celebrates making love with a woman. Manana Heron. To die not having known the frenzy of making love with a woman is to live without ever jumping over the bar of your crib. How could you not want to watch a woman fling her underwear on your bedroom floor, present you your nails and teeth to score like blades on dough? How could you not want to feel your edges slip into her hollows like a spoon folding flour into cake batter? How could you not want to hear her whimper crescendo to a jungle roar while your fingers move inside her? How could you not want a denouement to your play, when secret stories leak onto ivory sheets, tease tongues and start the sequel? How could you not want to drag a woman to bed at 7 on a Saturday afternoon, rise at 2 on Sunday afternoon, sleep deprived and smelling like a marathon runner, race outside to tackle weedy flower beds, gleeful that soil will not rest in your clipped fingernails? And the final poem I'm going to read is called My Menopausal Vagina. Doesn't need any explanation. Here it is. My menopausal vagina is the village's oldest pub, doors wide open. She ignores medical experts who call closing time. She doesn't miss sex hormones that disappeared with dusk. She's still quite a capable host, and her parties never run dry. She doesn't feel like a forgotten World War I trench full of sludge. Prefers to think of herself as an estuary. Kayakers, windsurfers, and paddlers still want to explore. She delights in their enjoyment of her brackish water that leaves a salty taste on the tongue. My vagina is not a posy that will welcome a man's rose. She's ragweed, not easy to contain, liable to poison snooze and asses stupid enough to wander into her pastures for a munch, ignoring the women-only sign she's erected at her entrance. Thank you. Happy Pride, everybody.
How do I record? Hi. I'm going to be reading from Joy Street, which is Headmistress Press. There it is. Queer. I sit all morning, then through lunch as the cafe empties and fills. Young woman by the window stays too. Cool girl I've a secret crush on, so studious with her law books. Environmental, I hear her say to someone else. I want to weave my hands through her hair, but I don't know her name. Once I say hi as she passed, and she smiled back, seizing me with dumb fright as usual when it's someone I like. Because we're both women, I've learned this means I'm queer. I like how the word defines me, explaining a lifetime of feeling different, not wanting to flirt with guys or wear high heels. Now she's sitting with her headphones on. Just a moment ago, she yawned. Gender. In my dream, the seductress, naked from the waist down, displays her penis, soft and gray, curved as a shell. When she enters me, I aspire to mine own androgyny. Like these three women sitting in the cafe near me at ease in suspenders, crew cut tattoos, which can't disguise the cat-like softness of their eyes. Springtime in the grocery store. We're shopping, gathering ripe pineapples, kiwis, oranges, when she leans into me, coos, I love it when you talk fruit. And I whisper, mango, mango, mango. So she swoons, and soon we're rolling on the tiled floor together between the dairy aisle and spicy condiments. Gelato. She buys me gelato, my favorite, but eats it on the way home. It was so cold, so delicious, coffee, sweet cream. I'm so sorry, she says with a kiss and hands me the empty dish. Now I'd like to read a few from Why I Never Finished My Dissertation, also Headmistress Press. Beyond. I don't think of her as woman or man, just as I don't gender sunlight on my face the first coatless spring day, or wind lacing the waves. The particular beauty of her eyes and gait, the tilt of her head as she listens, exist in a realm evolved beyond any words I know, soul beyond any description of rose or peony, the way she tends me as one would a flower. So my leaves droop and petals wither when she is away from me. And she's right here listening. It's really nice. The word. As you teach classes, I tend our dogs at home, barely noticing the morning's blustery winter cold. As I savor our wedding plans for a day somewhere between our August birthdays. This year, each of us enters a new decade. Clara, our marriage has been clear to me as your name. Since I moved in with you 4 years ago, the traditional word, papers and ceremony, make no difference to me, though traditional isn't exactly accurate to the union of two women. I wish we had another name for it. Mornings when we make each other tea, nights entwined beneath the sheets, shared evenings reading on our couch. The word cozy entices. I'd like to cozy you, if you agree to cozy me, braving separate decades together this summer on our lawn. Under the autumn sun. Man and woman join to make one flesh. The guy I thought my friend informs me. So how can you be married? I want to say something in response, but he turns ashen and walks away. His mournful words diminuendoing, I guess this is the modern world. I remember it a week after our marriage, when my wife approaches me holding chard across her breast. In this peaceful autumn sun, though we know soon the ravages of a hurricane will scour us with hail and rain. She's been harvesting chard, tomatoes, onions, a host of potatoes she raised from soil I helped make from compost we grew all winter. She kisses me openly, her lips sweet and fresh, from tomatoes plucked from our one flesh-joined garden. And I'll read two more. These are from the book that's coming out next year from Salmon called It's This. The Once Invisible Garden. How did I come to be this particular version of me and not some other? This morning of purple delphiniums blooming like royalty, destined to meet these 3 dogs asleep at my feet and not others. This soft summer morning sitting on her screened porch, become ours, our wind chime, singing of wind and time. Yellow, white digitalis feeding bees and filling me, and more abundance to come, basil, tomato, zucchini. What luck or fate, instinct or grace brought me here in shade beneath day-blind stars, a soft summer morning, seeing with my whole being love made visible. And I will end with, there we are. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for including me in this.
We have April Leaf Fields coming up next. And then we'll take a short break.
All right. Hello, everyone. Can everyone see me? I can still see her. Yeah, okay, cool. All right. So I'm April Leaf Fields, and this is my bassist Wigman, and we do an assortment of cover songs I've paired with poetry from my book, and we're going to do that for you today. What is this a man's world? What is this a man's world? But it wouldn't be nothing. Not one little thing without a woman or a girl. You see, woman make the car, takes over the road, and man made the train to carry the heavy load, and man made the electric lights to take us out of the dark, and man made the go for the water like no maniac. And this is some man's fault. But it wouldn't be nothing. Now one little thing without a woman or a girl. Without a woman or a girl. Well, she will hide her face and tell the truth, so that you're not distracted by fleshy lies. And she will speak as if she were born a man, and words without beauty shall suffice. Shall suffice. For she says that beauty, despite its warm and pulsing truth, that beauty is also a lie. It's also a lie. Well, I'm so tired of playing with this bow and arrow. Gonna give my heart away, leave it to the other girls to play. 'Cause I've been a temptress for too long. Yes, and give me your reason to love you. And give me your reason to be a woman. That's all I wanna be, just wanna be a woman. And beauty is an intoxicating affair that holds captive a simple and impressionable soul. Cutting off locks of illusion from her golden hair, aging gracefully into an inevitable kind of old. And despite the words that she is speaking, only the fullness of her lips will be seen, whilst you witness her skin's phantom desire to undress, to be touched, to be fucked, and to be seen. When the reality of the story is that she simply needed to breathe. That she simply needed to breathe. Well, man thinks about a little baby girl and a baby boy, and man makes them happy, 'cause man made them toys. And after man make everything he can, you know man makes money, to buy from other men. To buy from other men. What is this a man's world? What is this a man's world? woman or a girl. And a woman's body is a complicated riddle. The man will gladly spend his days. And such is the diversity of femininity, in that there constantly stands a complex versus concave. And her hair is long and her skin pale as winter's dawn, while she stands and clasps her hand in a reserved kind of tone. Yet you think them far too nimble to ever be alone, to ever be alone. And whether you have a hero kind of courage or a desperate longing from the start, well, how could you ever genuinely understand the truth of a woman's heart? Or how could you ever genuinely understand the truth of a woman's heart? So don't you stop being a man. Take a little look from our side if you can. And so little tenderness, no matter if you cry. Oh, give me your reason to love you, and give me your reason to be a woman. I just don't wanna be a woman. What whispers would stir your secret self from such a dormant sleep, while she lie there smoking like a man, giving nothing at all, giving nothing at all for you to keep. Well, he is lost in that bitterness. He is lost in that wilderness. He is lost in that bitterness. And he is lost in that wilderness. In that wilderness. In that wilderness. That's it from us, guys. That was April Field. Thank you. We're working for my book of poetry called Wildflower. If anyone wants to support it, it's available on Amazon. Thank you so much for having us. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
P.S. I brought bubbles. Happy Pride. Thank you. Namaste.
Fabulous. Stupendous. I have no words for the first hour. We have a brief break. You know how parades stop and start, the bands stand at, just a standstill. The people in the parade wonder what's going on ahead, that the parade can't move. Well, we've got that kind of a little break for all of you. So we will be returning at noon Pacific, and that's 3 p.m. Eastern. And I think I'm at 8 o'clock in Ireland. We'll be back with you up at the top of the hour. And folks, we'll be muted here, but we'll be on screen. And we'll see you all in a few minutes. Thank you so much to Risa Denenberg, Mancho Alvarado, Ann Walsh-Donnelly, Laura Foley, and April Lee Fields. What a great first hour, and looking forward, don't leave. We've got a great next hour coming up.